Welcome back, everyone. Well, they are known as one of the first settlers in the desert Southwest. As the Cocopah tribe planted its roots along the Colorado River, they saw native birds like vultures as gods who brought them fire. Now, along the flat terrain just south of the border in Mexicali lies a volcano. And inside the volcano, a vulture that tells a story of the tribe's history.
Just a few miles southeast of Mexicali lies the Cerro Prieto. It doesn't look like much from ground level, but if you get a high enough vantage point, you'll find a peculiar looking bird. This vulture is considered a sacred animal to the Cocopah tribe. For them, it's a symbol of death, but at the same time, purification. Alright, so right now we are at the center of the crater, and you may notice that the vulture's head points true north. It's also where the border between the US and Mexico is located relative to the volcano, pointing towards a hope that these two countries can come together in unity. A project to create an identity for the Cocopah tribe to last future generations. This is Juan Hernandez, the mind behind this geoglyph in the crater of this volcano.
The volcano is a source of energy, and the bird represents the connection between life and death. The vulture eats dead creatures, and what comes out of it is manure that can be used as fertilizer, which grows and gives life.
But what Juan didn't know is that just a few years later, it would be a striking symbol of what the area faces amid the pandemic. As more people die, a reminder that we can still be together while being at least 6 feet apart.
People just started coming to help without even us asking them. Since 2016, it was registered on satellite pictures, and it started going viral on social media. Some people thought it was aliens or part of a myth.
Hundreds of rocks later, and with the help of the surrounding Tile Montano community, this one-of-a-kind project was complete.
All right, so right now we are at the northeasternmost dome in the area, and as you see around me here, the landscape is just so unique, filled with different kinds of rocks, and paleomagnetic evidence shows that over the span of 100,000 to 10,000 years ago, geological events formed this area here in the Cerro Prieto. Now, Cocopah legends say that a monster formed here, came up from the soil, spewed hot lava, emitted fire tongues, which is a possible reference of the growth of this volcano.
A geothermal power plant sits just a few miles away from the volcano. It powers the entire city of Mexicali and parts of the U.S. However, opponents believe that it pollutes a large part of the Colorado River in Mexico, which feeds into the Gulf of California. The delta is a vital nesting and feeding area for more than 380 species of birds, including the sacred vulture.
It's a controversial question. Any human activity has the potential to cause contamination. We have to learn to live with the luxuries we have now and not to take advantage of it and destroy nature. It's a way to show my admiration to them and showcase the culture for the nomads culture of the desert.
Antonia Torres Gonzalez is part of the tribe and can speak to the dwindling number of its members. That's why she is trying to revive the culture as much as she can.
Here in the Cocopah community of El Mayor, we have 200 residents, but in total there are more than 400 Cocopah indigenous people who remain, who live in different places in the region, such as in Tijuana, Ensenada, in San Luis Rio Colorado, and in the Cocopah Reserve called Pozas del Viso. And we have another community that lives in Yuma, Arizona, as in Somerton. So in total we are 3 Cocopah indigenous ethnic groups that exist today.
As the reservation she lives in starts to modernize, she still practices traditional ways of living, hiking to the nearby Eagle Mountain to hold ceremonies for healing.
We share our culture through word of mouth. We learned it from our grandparents, who then passed it on to the next generation. We need to hold on to these stories so our children can remember them, so that our culture doesn't go forgotten.
In Somerton and Pozas de Arvizu in Mexico, much of the land has been leased to farmers. The Cocopah Casino brings in much needed revenue and employs dozens of tribal members. And making a living in El Mayor, where Antonia lives, is not easy. Most families in El Mayor live on less than $200 a month. Even then, she feels preserving the culture is much more important.
Our ancestors settled in the delta of the Colorado River over 3,000 years ago, and we are still here.
I wanted this to set itself apart because not everyone has the willingness to go up a mountain and have the energy to move the rocks. It's a way to say to the world that I was here.
So if you plan on visiting the area, be mindful of the history surrounding the sacred place, because only then can its history be preserved and its identity remembered. Gabe Salazar, News 11.